And welcome back to the SmarkTank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am your host, flying solo today, the benevolent, intelligent Mr. Donnie Wonderful, a.k.a. Big Time Donnie, here to talk about the fallout from All Out. Right now, it is September 9th, 2022, at the time of recording this. Oh, and by the way, cheap plug, even though we're not sponsored, but that's going to happen. Excuse the tangents. But right now, I'm drinking, I guess, the unofficial drink of, I know y'all heard that. The unofficial drink of SmarkTank Revolution today is Barg's Root Beer. Apparently, it's good since 1898. I've never actually done a fact check to see if they were around that long. Damn, but salute. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about it, man. In retrospect, I think when special things happen, you don't know it's going to be a special occasion. You never know it's going to be special moments. For instance, when your favorite artist records an album, they're going through the motions of recording it and not realizing that this may be a classic until the audience reacts to it. I say that to say this. Last weekend was phenomenal for wrestling. When you have Clash at the Castle, you wanted to tune in to Monday Night Raw or Raw. You had All Out before we even got to the aftermath of All Out in the media scrum. The show itself, which I was able to watch along my cohort, Mr. Joey Business. At least I caught about a good 80% of it before I had to depart. And we saw it in the theater, which is great. Excuse me, by the way. But, you know, these shows were really laid out nicely, and I think there was no accident that they were butting heads at the same time, around the same time. You had a good show Friday, and then you had the answer or the follow up on Sunday. I like it. It's a spirit of competition. You just knew that everyone was going to bring their A game. I felt like WWE put out, and I got a chance to see most of Clash at the Castle, due to the great reviews done by my buddy Joey Business, which is on the channel. Please go and listen to his ratings and rankings of the matches. They were all phenomenal. But I was able to see that, and I think that later on down the line that we're going to look back upon the September 2022 weekend and say, you know, this is where something's changed. Has to be. Now let's bring everything into it. So Joey has done his opinion on the aftermath. Sorry, it's the soda. But Joey's submitted his recording for, you know, his opinion on what happened after All Out 2022, and I just want to offer mine. I think there's certain things that we agree on, but I know that there's going to be things that we don't agree on, and I just want to preface it by saying, in another sport, in another professional sport, i.e. boxing, I am that media guy. Shout out to FightView360.com, T Street Controversy on YouTube. If you're a boxing fan, please go check them out. But I am a media correspondent. So if this was a major fight, you know, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, if it's in New York, definitely. But I would be there asking the questions. And I like this aspect of including that journalists, that media presence at wrestling events, because it's an opportunity that we rarely get to see, where guys get to talk about their craft and they really get to talk about themselves, and you can see how they're properly represented. A couple of years ago, Fight Hype, which is a boxing channel, that, you know, they got some good guys up there. Like, have run into them in a couple of their media correspondents several times at the fights that I cover. And you know, when Tyson Fury was scheduled to wrestle Braun Strowman was on Fight Hype and gave a real interview, it was elocuted well. He was well spoken, and he came off as a professional athlete. And what you heard in that was really him. Representing himself, representing his brand. There was nothing scripted. It was organic, and I absolutely love that. So, going to this media scrum now. I'm subscribed to AEW's YouTube channel, so we got the alert. Hey, AEW is on, or new video uploaded, or whatever. It's the media scrum. All right, let's check it out. It starts with CM Punk, and damn, damn. So with Tony Khan sitting right next to him, let me first say this. This was literally the occasion to tackle these, to air your grievances. Because, shout out to Dave Meltzer, PW Insider, obviously, and there's a couple of other wrestling news channels that were there. But we're the ones that report these things to all the wrestling fans. Who else would you rather CM Punk air his grievances out to? Especially when they've been reported. Now watching it when I first saw it, I completely forgot about the Hangman Adam Page promo, in which he went into business for himself. But I remember watching it and just not understanding what he was talking about. And then people put it together later. And, if you don't know the history between CM Punk and Colt Cabana, well, just watch the scrum, media scrum, and you'll get it from CM Punk's perspective. But damn, he went right into responding to a reporter and airing that out. And he even mentioned when he went into business for himself against Adam Page. Now, if you weren't following or listening closely, I can honestly admit when Adam Page did it, it went over my head. But when CM Punk did it, I said, whoa, where did this come from? So, getting the context, I was able to say, okay, that's where that came from, and then it made sense. Not to say that it was justified, but it made sense. And as a media guy, I'm like, whoa, this would have been great if that was me. I'd have been like, hey, this is good stuff. Vince McMahon, that's good shit, pal. Yeah, I would have done all of that. But then CM Punk inventing and also talking over the boss with I mean, if you're Tony Khan, this did kind of get out of hand. And, as much as you want to resolve these matters behind closed doors, if they aired it out publicly, if they're backbiting and really promoting the propaganda of these rumors, then you address it. And just like CM Punk said, the apology you have to be as loud as the whatever he said. But here is where you actually talk about these things, and I love how CM Punk was completely transparent. I wouldn't have thrown in the fact that, hey, he shares a bank account with his mom or anything like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, per se. But I guess it was relative to what he had to say and get off his chest. And if this was something that he was wrestling with, then by all means, But then it got real when he talked about the EVPs. And if you're an EVP of the company, then yeah, you shouldn't be tailgating things that are unconfirmed. But if it comes from an EVP, I'm prone to believe it. If they piggyback off of something like that, or the going rumor of CM Punk pressured Tony Khan to remove Colt Cabana, and that's why he's now in ROH. And if that's being championed by the EVPs, I can understand that. And if it's false, I can understand why you would say, hey, I work with children. I actually didn't expect to side with CM Punk as much as I did. I said, here's a man that's really airing his grievances out, and I can actually agree on almost all the points. And I can agree with his frustration. And I knew it was real because very rarely did he talk about the good match that he had just had. MJF had just came back. You know, like the I mean, it was the energy, the synergy is at a fever pitch. The show ended very well. Good call, Joey. I won't doubt you again. But it was a great product. And you came down to the media scrum, here's my chance. All right, what I didn't do live on television, I'm going to do right here. Because actually, this is the appropriate place to do it. Way too many F-bombs, but I get it. They're being themselves. But one thing I did, and this was probably the one that affected me the most when I thought about it. Not me personally. When he said, after he went on Colt Cabana, and then he pretty much buried Adam Page, and Hangman just seems like he's just a nice guy. Just how he's presented, how he speaks, like Adam Page really sounds and seems like a real nice, wholesome guy. And if he was just like CM Punk said, you're sticking up for your friends, I get it. I mean, that is definitely something that I would think that Adam would have approached Punk in the back and say, hey, man, not to stir the pot a bit, but, hey, I was friends with him. I'm working with you. There's just some things that that are just being said or reported that, just for the sake of whatever. I don't know how he could have approached CM Punk with that, seeing that, it technically isn't his business, but that conversation would have been something to do in the back or personal. You don't do that on live television. And CM Punk was right. You don't jeopardize the first $1 million gate or $1 million house. You don't go into business for yourself against somebody like CM Punk. Or actually, of all the people I can think of, you would do that with CM Punk because he's good. He obviously obliged you the same way, but he did it in the media scrum. Imagine if Hangman Adam Page goes to business for himself against The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin. That main event would have been changed, even though he's the champion. That's what's actually happened before. No longer will, even though it was billed, no longer will those guys be wrestling Hangman Adam Page. You just literally jeopardize the whole pay-per-view because it was built on that. If he goes into business for himself against an Undertaker, how do you think that happens? Then again, what makes you that confident to want to do that? Nobody's going into business for themselves against Ric Flair. You respect the veterans that paved the way and that's come in to help boost where you guys are. Another thing Punk said in WWE, doing things like that was unacceptable. And here, that's what I can understand. I can completely understand that. I don't think that happens on Vince McMahon's television. That doesn't happen on Vince's watch. You can't do that. The only people that would be able to do that, obviously, would be the Shawn Michaels. People that have a longer history of making him money. Or I can't really make the Tony Khan parallel because Tony Khan seems to be cool with everybody. I know it's a newer promotion, but I guess this also justifies why Vince scripted everything. He knows what's going to be said on his television. But like, think about it. If somebody goes into business for themselves and it goes the other way, you lose sponsorships, you jeopardize the pay-per-view. There's just so much that can go wrong because you don't know how the person is going to react. You have no clue. And if it was a hot-headed wrestler that was at the top of his game, I'm not going to name any names. I'm not thinking of anybody in particular, but like if it's, imagine, how about this? I hate to put him out there like this. This is my boy. It's my boy. Imagine if Hangman Adam Page goes into business for himself against the New Jack. Can you guys imagine how that would have turned out on live TV? You would have had to pray that Jack would have been professional to talk about it in the back or whatever the case may be. Hangman Adam Page kind of got off easy. But yeah, I mean, like, so following that, there was a fight in the back. The EVPs, they went to, I guess, confront CM Punk, and like there was punches thrown, hair pulled, wrestlers bitten, a real chair shot. I mean, like, it sounds like pandemonium, but it sounds like a TLC match that happened back there. Ace Steel, I guess the story with that, and I can kind of understand. I would throw a chair too if my wife is back there, uh, amongst all of this. So apparently his wife was in the locker room, CM Punk's locker room, watching over Larry the dog. Larry the dog. We love Larry, and I guess she already had a broken leg. So if there's a fight that's going to happen around her proximity, the husband's definitely going to protect her and fend them off, or fend off whatever the pandemonium is by any means necessary. Unfortunately, it had to result the way that it had. But like, I just can't see the Bucks approaching CM Punk aggressively. But he did welcome it. He said, if anybody has a problem, you guys come see me, or whatever he said. And I guess they decided to oblige him to that. There's I need way more context. I mean, there was a lot of suspensions, and as we stand right now, we have no idea what the future is for CM Punk. I'm pretty sure that Ace Steel is likely going to get the axe because of this, but CM Punk's already injured. He injured his elbow. They've already stripped every one of the belts. I think that the suspensions. I mean, it's a workplace incident. It's an HR nightmare. Of course, discipline has to happen. And if you're Tony Khan, I know you have a great relationship with everybody. But even Tony Khan said in his media scrum, there's only so much that he's going to take about guys talking about him, and he's Tony Khan really is trying here, and I applaud him because he is a fan, but like, he is completely engulfed in providing other wrestling fans with the best wrestling experience, whether you're there live in person or you're watching in your living room. And unfortunately, when you have an event that was so high, so elevated, because again, I think there were rival pay-per-views that same weekend. You want to roll out of a successful show into what you last left the audience seeing, which was MJF hinting that he's coming for the belt, and CM Punk in the ring. And unfortunately, all of that got swept under the rug because we were talking about a real fight that happened with real talent, and now everyone involved had to be removed. But I guess, to speak optimistically on what can happen, I was for CM Punk winning the belt again. I thought that it should have been Bryan Danielson when Punk got hurt, but I didn't have a problem with Mox. I think if Bryan Danielson wins this tournament, Bryan Danielson and MJF would be great. But I do think that MJF is going to milk this for a while. And I do think if he's playing it the way that I think he is, if he's real about the bidding war of 2024, that he'll try to do the Summer of Punk deal. I'm going to have your belt towards the end, or I'm not sure when they can actually begin renegotiating his contracts. Actually, hey, if Tony just gave him more money, then I guess they can do it anytime they want. But that part I'm interested to see. But I just wanted to plug this mic up real quick and, just briefly talk about what we all know now. And I honestly think that in a few years from now, there's going to be a dark side of the ring that's going to detail this weekend. I think that there's going to be residual effects, and we don't know whether it's good or bad. I think that Hunter Triple H is smart enough to know that he can capitalize off something like this, whether it's a jab or I don't think that they're going to try to make the hole deeper, but I do think that they'll come up with a slick way of acknowledging it and also putting themselves over some way. It's going to be interesting to see. It's really going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for you guys right now. If any more news or details come out about this, Joey and myself, either one of us or both of us, we're gonna have to plug up the mics, and we're really gonna have to deep dive into the aftermaths, the consequences, everything. But right now, this has been the fallout from All Out. This was my opinion of it. I have one, obviously, you just listened to. Joey Business has one. Please listen to that. And just stick with us. We have multiple videos coming down the pipeline. We hope you all enjoy them. Please like, subscribe, share. Thank you, SmarkTank Revolution supporters. And we welcome all the new ones. This is Donnie Wonderful. I'm signing off. See you guys on the next video.